this is going to be great.
Welcome to the White House Pod with David A.R.
A man who literally needs no introduction. One of the best looking people on the planet. It's very, very difficult all the time for me to stand next to him and to watch him. He's an amazing actor. He is, he's like an award winner. He was an underwear model, one of the biggest underwear models in the world. He dated some of the most ridiculous people in the world. But more importantly, my friend, my pal, Antonio Sabato Jr. Welcome.
What's up, buddy?
How are you, man?
I'm good, buddy. How you doing? How's everything for you?
Well, it's better now that you're here. I can say
that's what I want to hear because I feel the same way about you.
Antonio and I did we did how many of these Zoom meetings when God's Not Dead We the People came out? We were on like 50 of them or some whatever those satellite tours are.
Yeah, it was endless. I became like your other brother.
And it was very early in the morning. And, and it was tough, though. I am going to say this, Antonio. I mean, I'm sure you get this a lot. It's us average looking people in the world, when you're sitting next to you or, I go to the gym, like when we were shooting We the People, we were in Guthrie, Oklahoma in a blizzard. And still, I would go to the gym with Antonio, and he would show me up every single time. And then ultimately, I would just like sit there and just look at Antonio.
No, that's not true because David is so humble in his own life. He's just one of the nicest guys, but he's the man. David is the man. I just love spending time with my friend David.
I agree. I agree. All right, so let's talk about. So we can get into all of this stuff because you have an unbelievable career that you have worked for, you've done. But I'm going to start with how I met Antonio Sabato Jr. And this
sounds
goes
like a TV show. How I Met Antonio.
It could be.
David is starting a new show called How I Met Antonio.
How I Met Antonio.
On a weekly show, he will find out. And by the end of the first season, you will know how he met.
I love it. Look at your teeth. Your teeth are even perfect. Did you ever have braces?
I did have braces. I also had Invisalign.
Yeah. Like recently or like in the last, or like 30 years ago?
Invisalign, I only had to do my lower teeth because I was lazy when I was a little boy, and I used to break all my retainers. I used to eat with them, so then I used to leave them behind. And
you would eat while you were wearing your retainer?
Yeah, because I was too lazy to take them off. So I was always in a hurry. I was always going somewhere.
It gave you something extra to chew on? Is that the deal?
No, I just want to get as much food as I can inside me so I can move on and get everything done.
Yeah.
Food is secondary. You got to get things done. I'm just like.
All right, where did you grow up? All right, where did you grow up? You're an Italian-born American model actor. First found fame in the 90s as an underwear model for Calvin Klein, much like myself.
Exactly. It's the same thing happened to you as happened to me.
Right,
I was born in Italy. I was born in Italy, in Rome, Italy, and we moved to this country in the 1980s, 1985, and for hopes of having a better life, going to better schools, learning a language, becoming an actor in this country, all those things kind of. But we ran out of money in 2 years, David, so we just had to go back to Italy. So we actually came here, went back to Italy, and then came back again. So it was nice, but I wouldn't do it again.
Okay, so how old were you when you moved back to Italy?
Well, I was here when I was my teenagers. I was 12 years old and stayed here 2 years, and then went back about 14, 15 years old. And spent some time there and then came back again. So I was like, my high school years I went to 5 different high schools. Then I actually.
In what state are we in? New York?
Or? California. I went to 5 different high schools in California. And then I went to a high school in Italy too that I didn't attend to because I missed every day of that year. So then
What were you
last year,
doing
actually, I
when
went
what were you
back to
doing
school.
when you were so busy in Italy that you couldn't go
I
to
got a
high school?
job. I wanted to make money. So I went, I
Oh, okay.
worked in a warehouse and I made a lot of money cash, moving stuff.
Yeah.
So I worked an
Were you
entire
like
year.
breaking people's legs and stuff too on the side? Can we talk about that?
No, no, I wasn't that guy. No.
Okay.
I mind my own business and I wanted to make money and so I actually went back to school last year and I got my high school diploma. I had to finish
Wow.
high school. I got it back. So last year last year was all about studying. I went back to school. I got my real estate license, which is pretty much like in Florida getting a law degree because it was the hardest thing I had to do. And but I guess I went back to school in my later years, you
Okay.
know.
Okay, wait. So you're in California? Are you in Los Angeles then? We're around 17, 18 years old. Where are you at?
Yeah, well, I was living in LA. Actually, no. At 17 years old, I was living in New York. Because remember, I left high school in my junior year. I
Okay.
never looked back. I got on a plane. I moved to New York to become an actor, and started going to acting schools, all that stuff. I just left school, and after 5 high schools, and I was like done. I don't want to study anymore. I want to pursue my career, and told my parents I'm out of here. So took
And
off.
in New York, did you go to New York to model or like what brought you to New
No,
York?
modeling was only for Calvin Klein. Calvin Klein saw a movie I did called If Looks Could Kill. It was a movie for Fox. It did really well. It was like a movie in
Shocking,
the
by the
week.
way, just shocking, first of all, that you just said that. You're like, modeling was only for Calvin Klein, and they
Only
happened to
for
see a
Calvin Klein.
movie
People
that I
think that I
did
went
called If Looks Could Kill.
If Looks Could Kill.
Like
Yeah.
it sounds like a model. It sounds like a perfect movie for to take models into
No,
and
this
then
guy
pull them
actually
from
killed
them
people.
and give underwear campaigns to. All right. So the guy, hold on a
I
second.
did this movie, and Calvin
Wait.
saw this
How
movie,
old?
and
Wait. How old are you when you get this? Is this your first movie? If Looks Could Kill.
no. I started on General Hospital. That was my big
At
break.
how
I
old
also
were we?
was it like 19,
Okay,
18,
so in General
late
Hospitals
20?
in New York too.
No, that was in California. I was
Okay,
actually
hold on. I'm going to need a whiteboard here, just so I can
yeah,
say,
you need to
okay,
pay attention
Antonio
here. There's a
is.
lot of stuff. My first gig that people would know me from, first ever, was a Janet Jackson video called "Love Will Never Do Without You," and it was directed by Herb Ritz. And I did that video, and the people started recognizing me, but they didn't know the name. And then I went to Italy, and I did some movies, Italian movies, really bad ones, but I
If
had a
Looks
great
Could
time
Kill.
doing them. No, this is before that. I started acting and doing movies when I was a teenager,
Okay,
pretty
hold
much.
on, just a second.
So
You gotta
I've been
just.
working for a long
I
time.
we got that, but I gotta back up a minute here. Your
Yeah.
father was an actor, correct?
Yeah, my father was an actor for many, many years. And
Okay. So you grew up. Did you grow up with that chip inside of you, basically, that had the desire to do what your dad did?
I did, but my dad never wanted me to do it because he knew how bad this business is. This business is a horrible business. I wouldn't want my kids to be having anything to do with it. It's just the most unrealistic, the most crazy, the most fun too. All that good stuff, but I wouldn't want it for my kids, you know. So my dad was like, "Listen, if you want to be an actor, you could do that, but you got to show me that you really want to do it. You're going to go to classes. You're going to study. You're going to study another language. You're going to watch movies. You pretty much are going to show me." And at a very young age, I did that. I was studying with much older teachers at a very young age. I went to the actor studio. I went to Stella Adler studio. I studied privately on my own. I got vocal classes on my own to perfect the language so I didn't sound like I was a foreigner. Things like that I did. And my father was like, okay, now I see it. You really want to do it, so I'll give you a hand. So we started working together and traveling together and doing movies together. It was fun.
Is that when you went back to Italy to do your first, few movies? Was your
Yep.
dad in those movies as well?
He
Or
was in those movies. He helped me study for those movies. I did also movies and miniseries in Italian, which is really
wow,
difficult to do. I speak Italian fluent; it's my first language, but to work as an actor there is very it's a different way of performing. It's very stage performing, and everything has to sound a certain way. And it was very challenging. It was and we worked on that together a lot.
Okay, so fast forward here to, which is, see, I didn't even know this about you, Antonio. With all of
The
our
secrets of
workouts,
Antonio.
I mean, exactly, all of our workouts, and and
That's
being in a
right.
blizzard in in Guthrie, Oklahoma
No, our lives were in
for
danger.
weeks, and our lives were in danger, and I still didn't get this amazing story from you. Okay, so you
No, I
come.
save it for your podcast.
I mean, I base all this for the podcast.
Of course.
Why
It's
else
for,
would we tell this
to
story
give you more
beforehand?
followers and more
I
likes.
mean, it's all right. So that's why you're here. Is just it's okay. So you're 17, 18 when you come back from Italy off of a movie. And what movie, when you come back from Italy, what movie had you just finished that did you come straight to California, or did you go to New York at that point?
I was living all over the place. I was living out of a suitcase, but then I came back to LA and I went back to live with my mom for a little bit. And that's when I got a chance to screen test for General Hospital again, and I did. And this time I got it. So then I had a 2-year contract with ABC, which is great. I did amazing things doing General Hospital that it's very humbling, the things that I had the chance to do. Like, I remember going on Arsenio Hall show. I was the only soap opera actor to ever go on Arsenio Hall show and do his show. And,
Now, had you done? Let me put a pause on that for a second. When you went on Arsenio Hall, and for those young viewers out there, obviously there were like only 3 talk show hosts, and he was one of the main ones on at night. Had you already done the Janet Jackson video or the underwear thing?
No, the underwear, no, I haven't.
Okay.
I didn't do the Calvin
But the
Klein
Janet,
yet.
but the Janet
I
Jackson.
did Janet, and General Hospital did a really amazing thing for me. It put me on the map. I was nominated for a lot of awards. I was going everywhere. I was being offered a lot of things. People knew who I was. The character was watched, well watched. I took the show from number 7 to number 2 in 2 years, and then I had an offer to work with Spielberg right after that. And I also did that movie that Calvin Klein saw, and then Calvin Klein, the campaigns, there was one campaign that turned into 3, but that came years later. So I came, 4 years later? Yeah.
Did you have and how old were you when you did this the Calvin Klein campain?
My mid-20s.
Okay.
Yeah, my mid-20s, yeah.
Now, was it a problem being good looking, right? We've established that you are and were good looking. Okay. Just so we have that
David,
base.
I really don't pay attention to the way I look. I pay attention to the way I feel.
No, totally. But here's my question though. I actually do have a question. Is that did you did you fight against that stigma in the way that obviously you go on to do the Calvin Klein huge thing, right? Janet Jackson, you're the hot guy in that video. You're on a soap opera. Now you've turned this soap opera around. Did you feel at all, this is for the average folks in the world that are listening to this, but did you feel like you were getting this momentum because of, hey, you're a sex symbol, or B, it was your talent that you had worked, it sounds like you had actually worked really hard on from the time you were a kid? Or did you kind of just...
I always worked really hard, and I was always humbled, and I was a regular kid.
Yeah.
I became a huge brand because of the hard work that I put in. I'm 51 years old, but I train and I eat, and I put so much effort in my life, whether it's my health or whatever I'm doing, that takes a lot of pride and a lot of commitment. Because as you can see, a lot of guys my age that I started with many years ago, they've given up on themselves for many reasons, and I can't speak for themselves, but it's tough. As you get older, you kind of your fitness and all that stuff, you start giving up on yourself instead of gaining. And my father always told me since I was a young age to be so good at what you do, to look healthy, to be a leading man. I feel that.
But you have to say it had to be easier back in the day to be healthier, and when you were in your 20s than it is, in your 50s. For me anyway,
it's
it is.
easier
It was
because because you're cardiovascular and you're healthier, whatever, you're younger.
Yeah.
But as you get older, actually, there's ways to get healthier and smarter, which means as you get older, you actually get stronger. You take one step at a time instead of jumping into doing like 5 steps as you're younger, because you can push harder. But you can keep pushing. There's ways, and I'm never going to give up.
Yeah.
Actually, I have goals that I want to achieve, things that I want to do. I'm getting back into professional racing, which I want to race cars again. So that takes a lot of fitness to race that long, to race in a Porsche Cup, which is what I want to do. It takes a lot, you have to be fit.
Why do you have to be fit to drive a car? Because obviously, like,
The G's and your body loses 10 pounds of water. It's just the adrenaline, everything.
is it the same like a trucker? I mean, are those truckers like at the top peak of their condition, driving a truck? But you think about
200 miles per hour, David, strapped in.
That's the difference.
A harness in a 200 degrees car racing against maniacs. They're racing as fast or faster. No, it's an adrenaline rush. It's a physical rush. You have to be healthy, very healthy. You can pass out.
We're not going to be seeing Antonio eating a donut while he's driving 200 miles an hour. That'd be a good commercial for the record.
I love donuts. Donuts are great. I just want to eat it through my helmet. But yeah, I like donuts. There's a time and place for a donut.
All right, so we fast forward. By the way, I think Janet Jackson is doing some like reunion thing right now. Actually, isn't she? She was just in the news the other day, like doing another concert. Or
she's great.
Yeah,
I love her.
She seems like a sweetheart. And and then they're talking about her getting back with the Jackson 5 or 4.
Oh yeah,
that'd be the rest of her brothers. Yeah, which would be
very cool.
Yeah. But all right, so how long do we model, or do you get right out of modeling after you do the underwear commercial? Underwear campaign, by the way. What did you? I mean,
my modeling career started with Calvin and it ended with Calvin.
Did it really?
That's all I did. I mean, I did.
In Mark Wahlberg, right? You guys, Mark Wahlberg did a similar campaign, didn't he? Right after yours.
Mark did a campaign with Kate Moss, and I did a single campaign 3 times in a row worldwide with 3 different photographers, 3 different campaigns, which was cool. So me and Calvin worked together a lot longer, and I still talk to the guy. He's a genius. He's just amazing person.
And you didn't want to model after that. You were like, no go. That's not my thing. I'm an actor.
No, I want to make movies. I want to get into different parts. I want to work with different actors. That's just what I'm built to do. That's what I love to do. It's on locations and.
Okay, in going backwards here. By the way, what is this? Sabato was contracted. Oh, look at this. You were a dancer too. Are you a good dancer, by the way? I didn't know that.
Not really, but I made it. I made 8 weeks. 8 weeks on Dancing with the Stars. That's not bad.
That's not bad, actually. The Stars.
Well, I was doing that, and also I was traveling because I was doing my reality show, Fix It and Finish It, when I was building the homes for a lot of people around the country. So we were traveling, going to the dance studios, and I would get on the plane and go on location, do the show, and then come back to ABC and do dancing. That was quite something. I wouldn't do that again.
My gosh, yeah. Do you ever get tired? Does Antonio ever get tired?
No, I'll sleep when I'm dead.
I like that.
I sleep when I'm in the coffin or whatever they want to do with me. But until then, there's no. Listen, the day is too short, man. There's so much stuff I got to do, and I gotta. I mean, listen, I got to talk to David. I got to, there's stuff I got to do.
All right, so everybody wants to know, what is your workout routine these days? Like, how many days a week do we work out?
I work out 7 days a week, twice a day.
I'm living it right now.
Really?
I don't have a time off. Yeah,
wow.
I'm training for this role, for this character that I written with my partner, Trailblazers, this Western that I've been wanting to do.
Okay.
So I've been training. My regimen is pretty simple. I have one big meal, which is mostly meats, red meat all the way. No chicken, no fish, red meat, water. And then I train twice a day. I train in the morning, and then I go throughout my day, whatever I got to do, and then I train at night as well.
I'm sorry. What, you have one meal a day, and what time do we do this at? Is there
in the afternoon? I have a meal that I can pick between noon and 8 p.m. So that meal, which is about over 2,000 calories, will be between 12 and 8. Whatever I can put it anywhere in that time slot.
Now, is it just like in one sitting, or do you just call it one meal even if you eat at
I
12
can
and then you
split
eat at
it,
3,
if I have
5, and 7? Is it still
I
just
can
one
split
meal?
it. I could eat it all in one. I pretty much know what I'm going to eat that day. For example, today I have burgers, just the patties and some sausages, all meats.
Like in the French fries and the cheese
French
and
fries?
the
No
and the
fries, but
buns.
I love fries. I love steak
Do we
fries.
eat the
No.
buns at all? No, we just eat the
There's a
meat.
time and place. There's a time like if I do once a week where I'm eating, like I love cheeseburgers. Cheeseburgers are my favorite food ever. I would eat cheeseburgers all day long.
Okay.
Like from day to night for breakfast, I'll eat them all, especially smash burgers.
Mm.
I'll eat like 5 of them. I'm a
This is
lion.
our
I just
plug
got
for
to eat
Smash Burgers, by the way.
smash
If you've
burgers,
never
the
been
best.
there,
But there's different type of
they're-
smash burgers all over the country. So there's different. And my
Okay,
girl,
wait. I'm still hold on. I
yes,
gotta take you back here one second because I'm still trying to understand this one meal a day thing.
one
Are
meal
you
a day.
just eating meat though? Is it like
Eating
so
meat, yeah,
today's
90%.
hamburger?
Yeah, today's ground beef hamburgers. Tomorrow will be a steak.
Do you eat anything with this beef?
No,
It's just
Just
all
myself.
beef.
all beef.
And
baby.
now, wow. Okay, and then and no carbs. There's no
Not really.
vegetables. There's
No,
no.
very little of everything
mean,
else. It's mostly 90%.
Most of the
of
kids
beef.
out there listening right now are being like, "Hey,
It's
you know,
called a
Antonio
carnivore
doesn't eat.
diet.
He doesn't eat
And
no
I've
vegetables."
done everything. I've tried all kinds of I've tried everything.
Yeah.
I've tried every type of workouts, tried a different
What do they
type
call
of
that, by the way?
eating.
What do they call that when you only eat meat?
Carnivore. It's called carnivore diet.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow, whoever did that, I could only imagine.
It was a crazy mania. Carnivore.
Carnivore. Wow. Okay.
But I
And
tell
then,
you,
like,
can I tell you how good I feel?
wow, you look good.
I feel amazing, and the energy level that I have, David, is astronomical. I know for some people it's hard to because we eat so unhealthy. The American people, especially in this country, probably eat the worst of the entire planet because there's no there's really anything goes. Anything
Yeah.
can go. It's just there's so much of it.
That's, yeah.
But in
Did you get my
reality,
cheese
we
fries,
don't
by the way?
need.
Is my cheese fries
Not
coming?
that much food.
Okay, good.
What'd you order?
I'm
Fries?
sorry, cheese fries. Yeah.
They have to be cheap fries. I love those cheap
Yeah,
fries.
but I'm not going to eat it at
No.
least until noon. So, you know. Okay, so let me get back to this. So tomorrow, then, will you have steak? Is that or chicken or like what is in this
tomorrow will be the
carnivore?
same
Is it
steak.
is
Yeah,
it
it'll be
only
steak,
meat or
steak,
can you have
steak.
chicken in there? There's no
I can
chickens.
eat- I mean, I could eat sometimes some chicken and fish, but I would say throughout the entire week, I'll have some fish at times, or tuna, or halibut, or something like that, or and chicken and things like that. But I would say 5 days out of those 7 days is red meat.
And you're eating between the hours of 5 and 8.
12
p.m.
and 8.
12 and 8. It's almost like intermittent fasting in a way, except for the fact that
Yep.
you're cleaning it up a little bit better. It
And
sounds
I feel,
way more
I feel
impressive, the
amazing,
carnivore.
And, like I said, I train really, really hard, and
Yeah.
I want to.
I can attest that you do train very, very hard, and I have videos, and we're gonna look for them and put them up here of us in Guthrie in
Videos,
a blizzard. I like the fact
trying
that
to get inside the gym, and we're locked down.
we were locked out. Yeah, it was the whole town
we
is
got
shut
in.
down.
We made it.
But Antonio and Dave working out. The best was when we brought Liz Travis to the workout. That was
That's right.
That she actually wanted to go,
That's
and then
right.
she worked out too.
You did.
All right, so God's Not Dead. So you did God's Not Dead, We the People.
Yep.
And was it a good experience to work with people like myself and Pure Flix and and the God's Not Dead family?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I was working with David White, which is like, I mean, he is God is Not Dead.
Well, he's not really.
He is
God's
the franchise,
God's Not Dead, but
and I had the
he's the
chance
guy in
to
it.
work with the franchise.
There you go. Well,
So
well,
had
we
an
need to have you
amazing
back.
time working together.
What now? And when you think back on because we shot in Guthrie, Oklahoma, right?
That's right. Most people don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it's a place
That's in
outside
the United
of.
States. It's in Oklahoma State. It's in the middle of nowhere.
It's outside of Oklahoma.
There is a
City.
restaurant that we went to. Remember
Yeah.
that the
There's like
restaurant
3
we went to?
restaurants in the place, and not always open.
That's
either.
right. There's only those 3, and we went to all of them. And I got to say, there was the Mexican place was good. We
That
enjoyed
was
it.
good.
That
Yeah.
was really good.
All right. So you just won an award. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this movie.
Here it is.
What? I love that. Okay. What does it say? Because it's hard
It
for us to
says
read it.
International Christian Film and
Yep.
Music Festival presented by the 24 Flix. This is the 2023 Best Lead Actor Feature Film, which is Grace by Night, which is the movie that I produced and starred in, and will be out this year. We're actually getting word in the next few days about the distribution. Where's it going to go? When is it going to be released? But this movie wasn't even ready. It was really a director's cut that was sent out to the film festival, and it was automatically nominated for 9 awards, almost 10.
Now, Grace by Night, like, where did you come up with this concept, or because
No,
you're a
this is
producer on it? Like,
Nathan Leon.
how did you get associated with it?
Nathan, the director, writer, and producer, and his wife, me and him knew each other for a long time, and he presented this.
Did he
script
work
to
out in Guthrie, Oklahoma, with you, like I did in the middle of the
No,
blizzard?
he
Okay.
could. He's a good. Yeah, no, he didn't do it, but he sent me the script many years ago, and I just fell in love with it. It was one of the best things I ever read.
That's cool.
And I told him that I would do anything to be part of this project, and it turned out to be amazing. One of the best films I ever made, and I feel passionate about this. This is an amazing film
And you won Best Actor for it as well.
Yeah, we won Best Picture, Best Actor, that's a humbling. It was a big surprise. I mean, for me, when you win something, it's just, especially something this good, it was incredible. It was an incredible night. It was. I thank God for that day, and I thank God that this movie is going to come out and be seen by millions of people. This is going to change the Christian world in our industry forever, because this movie is a statement of what you want to do for Christ, and what kind of films I want to do, what kind of films we want to do for Him, and this is the way to go. This is the beginning.
You've been doing some faith-based movies for a little bit. In fact, I met you in person. You came on an episode of The Encounter that I directed, where
right.
you were the lead actor, and I had the joy. And I think that was our first time actually meeting, right?
Yeah,
there, right?
I think officially, yes. And
I was amazed. It was funny because you have this your modeling career and your acting, and and the different things that you did, and then there's a certain stigma, I think, that comes along with beautiful people like yourself. I'm going back to this thing that I talking about at the beginning.
But David, you're beautiful too.
Well, thank you. We're all beautiful in and of ourselves. That God created. Amen. But you're actually that was a really cool moment for me I don't direct a lot of things, but you were great in it. And so if you haven't seen, that's The Encounter season 1 or 2.
And your daughter, your wonderful daughter.
And my daughter played your daughter, which was really cool. Jen Lilly was in that episode as well.
She was amazing. She was really cool. Yeah.
She played your wife, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, it was cool. So, and then you've done some Christian projects. And do we like doing it? Is it something that you had for many years kind of thought, I want to do that at some point in time, or did it kind of just roll into your life unbeknownst to your like how did this come about?
God put it in during that time, especially in those hard times when I was moving out of Hollywood and I went to Florida.
Because you used to live in Los Angeles for the
years,
audience, and then you moved.
I was your neighbor for I was there.
That's actually how that's a funny story. Actually, I'm going to say this story really quick. Sidebar, and then we're getting back to this question. Is that I knew who Antonio Sabato Jr. was, of course. And we lived in the same neighborhood. He lived in the very nice upscale part of the neighborhood, and I lived in the neighborhood over by the gates where they, if they could, they'd move the gate and move us out.
No.
But I would drive on my way out of the place. I would see Antonio. You were walking your son, I think, in the what do you call this? A baby carriage?
Stroller?
Sure. A baby carriage from 1800s.
Yeah.
And he had an Amish hat on. No,
but you never came up to me.
I didn't. I drove.
You were
you
secretly watching
well,
me.
you look like you were working out while you were doing while you were running that stroller in a process of
Oh
maybe
yeah,
listening to
all the time.
some amazing podcast or like this one. I don't know what you were doing, but I always thought, oh, there's Antonio. I'd love to say hello, but
Then I found you. See,
he's a
then I
big
sooner or later I
star,
found
and
David.
maybe someday, Lord, you'll bring him into. All right, so we fast forward. I love that moment though, because I don't know why some moments in your life you actually have very clear memories of, and then there's a
Mhm.
lot of other moments that you're like,
You want to erase forever. I
well,
understand.
that true, or you just don't remember them at all.
But sometimes it's good not to remember those moments. Like, I look at elderly people, which they're losing sometimes the memory, and I go, sometimes it might be a good idea because you don't want to remember certain things, and it's just forget it. Just let it all
Let it
vanish
go.
away.
But I'm not going to forget that moment. Those
No, that
moments.
one you can't.
Well, there were a few of them, and then Antonio moved out of the neighborhood and was like, wait, where did he go?
Yeah.
All right, so over the years, then you move out of California. Was it hard to move out of California and go to Florida? I've thought about that sometimes. I think about moving out of Los Angeles, but I've been here for
Well,
so
it was
long,
a
and you've been here so
first.
long, or you were
It
here
was
so
a
long.
first to it was but I love Florida. I've been coming here for many years since I was a teenager. I've been coming to Florida, but I wish I knew sooner. If I knew sooner, I would have probably moved to Florida 30 years ago. I would have left California altogether. This state
Mm.
is the best state ever, and I would never leave anywhere else. This is heaven on earth,
Is it
actually.
because so you don't have the earthquakes out there, but you got the hurricanes and the rains and the humidity and those things? They don't bother you at all?
No, not as much as the politicians in California. Those
Mm.
hurricanes are worse.
Mm. You mean they're better? The hurricanes are better than the politicians. Oh, you're
No,
referring to the
those hurricanes
politicians.
over there are
Ah,
worse in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
political
That
world.
makes
Here
sense.
we're good. We're good.
Well, okay, so we're going to just merge to politics really quick in the way that
Oh no,
this
no.
is interesting. No, I think this is interesting because in the next God's Not Dead movie, I'm
Yeah.
tying it into
The
the
one you didn't
franchise.
hire me on, by the
Well,
way. Where's Antonio
Antonio,
now,
I know
huh?
Antonio's character doesn't come back in this one. It's an interesting thing to build the world of God's Not Dead and how the characers come back.
It's
Like
amazing.
Dean Cain is
Yeah.
finally coming back after God's Not Dead 1.
Oh,
I
oh, we
mean,
love you.
for 4 movies, he's been like, why am I not getting hired here again?
Just turn.
Uh,
That's
but
great.
but I'm running for Congress in this movie, and
Mhm.
in office, and so as an actor who is getting ready to run for Congress to
Mhm.
an actual actor who ran for Congress in reality, how was
That's right.
that? I mean, how
It
was
was
it?
educational.
Yeah.
I became a lot smarter in knowing about how really the system works. I know it inside out. Um, but you got to be ready. You got to be tough. Probably the toughest you have to be because you're being attacked and your family's being attacked on a daily basis. So you got to have a good gut and you have to be ready to deal with the consequences. Your family has to deal with the consequences because they will actually deal with it in a different way because they're being attacked on a daily basis. You're always moving, you're always making speeches, you're always trying to raise money.
Mhm.
Running for political office is about raising the most money, and if you can't raise money, you can't win. So it's a money scheme, but that's how it works.
Would
And
you
in the
ever do it
process,
again?
no, I absolutely never. No,
Now, do you encourage? What do you say to people who want to do it? Would you give them
don't
that
do it.
speech? Okay,
If you have your own money, if
the
you have a
means.
way to raise and have, let's say you're retired, this or that, or you have money put aside, or you have people that you're connected with who are actually giving you a lot of money, then you can create a name for yourself. Like a lot of people will run for president now to create name for themselves, and they'll sell books. Maybe they'll get a position in that cabinet and things like that. I understand that, but on a congressional level, like for example, what you're doing in this film, it's about raising money and it's about also dealing with Washington because it's a federal position. So you have to travel to Washington every week and you have to stay away from your family. You'll never see your family ever again. So I'm glad I never won because I love my family too much.
Yeah. I mean, it was impressive to see you do that and go through that. So, okay,
I won
so
my county. I didn't
yeah.
want the seat, but I won
Well,
what I
and
was
in California, it's
expecting.
not very, wasn't an easy up. It wasn't, it was an
No,
uphill,
California is
up
rotten
at
in the
dawn,
political
pride
world.
swallowing siege every morning of, I would
It's
imagine.
it's rotten. I went to Sacramento. I dealt with a lot of local politicians and stuff, and California deserves better. It should get better, but unfortunately, is it's not looking that way. It's going to keep building. It's just going to be a mega structure of power and money, but the deficit is always going to be very, very high. And but people always will come to California. It's drawn a magnet for everyone around the world. I mean, those planes are landing and taking off every 3 minutes.
Now, okay, so when you went on The View, didn't you, at one point in time? How was that? They don't
It was
necessarily
great.
share your political views.
Well, it was great because when you learn and you know the truth wins over any other opinions. And so I
You look
was.
great on that show, by the way.
Oh,
I mean,
thanks,
I
but
think they were all very happy to have Antonio Sabato Jr. in the
I had a
middle.
great time, and I
Yeah.
taught them some stuff that they didn't know because obviously they didn't know. They thought they were gonna run over me, but I'm very well educated, and as far as debates, I'm not going to go into a debate unless I know I'm going to win, and I win with truth.
Hmm.
Just as long as you know the truth, you read what you're supposed to read and knowledge yourself, you can't lose.
Okay,
Truth will always win.
so truth will set you free.
Yep.
When
Yep.
if you had to choose, if your child says at 19, 20 years old, Dad,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to either go into the entertainment industry and be an actor,
Right.
or I will be a congressman or go into politics. What would you rather have him do?
Oh, go in the acting world. Absolutely. Because at least you're controlling your life. When you become a politician, you're in
Somebody else
charge
is trying to run
of
it.
everybody else. And at some point, you're going to upset some people or you're going to please some people, and you can't please everybody. At least with acting, if you care about yourself and stay on your straight and narrow life, you can be okay. But in the political world, mm,
Yeah.
different beast.
Okay, so you have some kids, yeah? You have some
Hmm.
kids, and
I have three kids.
okay, so
That's it. I'm good.
and
Three is enough.
three's enough. Three,
Three
isn't
is
that like
plenty.
wasn't that a show? No, it was called Eight is
It was
Enough.
eight is
I
enough. I
think
actually met a lady the other day, a sister, a friend of
think you
a
have five more
sister
to
of.
go,
They
Antonio.
have eight. No, I was like, no, I'm good with three. I'm good with three.
We're making a new show. It's called
Only
Antonio's Three is Enough,
three is enough.
or David's Three is Enough.
Sometimes one is enough too. Believe me. Depends what you have.
All right, so what tell tell us about dating? Okay, you've dated some colorful people over the years of your life,
Hmm.
from Madonna at one point, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
To I don't even. By the way, where is his dating? Where is his dating in this? It doesn't show all the. Do I have to go to the tabloids and Google
We're
the?
gonna call TMZ and find out what's
I
up.
mean, they're there. Okay. So what was it like exactly? What was it like to in the middle of all of that? Because it was a little bit
Hmm.
you've been on all over the spectrum in this town of Los Angeles, from the different types of people to go out with to
Yeah.
movie star. Did you date Janet Jackson too, by the way, when you were doing the video?
No, Janet, no, I didn't. No,
Okay.
she's amazing. No, but we're just friends.
Yeah.
No. I would stay away from anybody in show business if I tell you the truth. The
Really?
best dating, the best person is the person I'm with now that
Hmm.
I'm going to be married to. I wish I would have known her my entire life. I would have been okay just with her.
I wish
But
she was on the podcast, quite frankly.
oh no, no, we'll keep it private. We don't want to share her with anybody. She's all mine.
Yeah.
No, but she's great. She's the love of my life. And in Hollywood, sometimes when you're in that world,
She's not in the entertainment industry.
no, thank
No.
God, no,
She's in
no,
real estate, I think,
absolutely.
right?
She's in real estate, and we have. She's my best friend and the best ever. And I just think in Hollywood, it's just this world of being. It just is not real. And when you're in it, it's fun because you have things given to you, and you're running around. Your life goes really fast before you know it. But it's not real. It's not humbling. It's kind of crazy world, and it's beautiful. I had the chance to see it and witness, and I respect it, but it's like a trap sometimes, you have to have a way out.
I think this is part of the issue though, when you think about like when you tell your kid, hey, don't go in the entertainment industry, right, or politics or whatever it is. But the problem lies in that, and I would say the same thing to mine, right? I always people say, hey, should I be an actor? And I say, hey, if you could think of anything else in the world and be happy, do that, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is that it's the exciting aspect of it. Like in retrospect over my career as well, like I don't, you've met more people than you ever would have ever imagined. You've done things and you wouldn't have imagined.
Yeah.
Like it's a beautiful part. It's obviously very dangerous in a lot of ways, and that's the interesting aspect of it. So you got to leave somebody with advice here. What do they do if they still have that? How do you navigate through it?
David. What my parents told me that I respect since I was a young age was the fact that you have to be passionate and you got to love what you do. So if you put that much effort in doing something and you love it, you don't put money first of all. You don't put anything in front of it. You just know that you love that thing, And so if I had to say something about getting into business, is to really take pride in the craft. Take pride in learning how to read scripts, how to write, read more stuff, get involved in doing more plays, more plays to read, go watch plays. For me, it was always acting and making movies, and that's why I watch probably every movie ever made. To this day in my life, I just never stopped watching films. I love watching them, and I can't wait to shoot them. So that's what I love to do. So I would share that with my young ones and say, would you do this regardless of the money? Would you really love to do this 7 days a week? It didn't matter what time. Would you spend a huge amount of hours dedicated to that?
Yeah.
And if the answer is yes, then go for it.
Then you go for it. Yeah, I love that. All right, Antonio. How do people find you? Where is it? Antonio Sabato Jr., like at Instagram, FaceTime, Twitter.
Yeah, you can go to
TikTok,
Twitter, Antonio Sabato Jr., and Instagram, and you could always call David, because David knows where I'm at.
Man, you're such a breath of fresh air. I always find it so fun to when I get to talk to you on the phone or be in a movie with you. Like you really are. I think obviously your career has spanned so and it's exciting to see what you're going to continue to do, Antonio. It really is. Like thank you so much always for the workout tips, not only for me but for the audience. And how to continually look good until we're 99 years old.
Whatever. Till the end.
All right. How's the weather there in Florida today?
Perfect. Clear skies, 80 degrees.
All right, buddy. I love you, Miller.
Hey, enjoy the Lakers, huh?
I look forward to seeing you very, very soon, and I'm coming to Florida in about a week. So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, man. God bless you, Antonio.
God bless.
Well, always fun to talk to Antonio Sabato Jr., an amazing guy with so many different stories and encouragements. And today we figured out, exactly what we were supposed to be eating, how we're supposed to be doing it to look like as much as we can Antonio. So I'm going to do that for the rest of my life after this cookie. Thanks so much for watching, guys. God bless you. Make it a great day. And make sure that if you're going to do this, you should probably work out too.